Hello and welcome to your Empowered Astrology Forecast with yours truly, Sarah McCallum, the Cosmic Finder. And I'm here to report on the week of December 12th, 2022. We're nearing the end of this year, and I, for one, am just amazed at how rapidly this year has flown by. So I want to first start by discussing the sun, which is the planet that rules Leo. The luminary is really what we should refer to the sun as. It's not a true planet. And it's the planet that really is related to our sense of purpose and our ego. It is going to be creating a sextile with Saturn this week. And the sextile can be a relationship that feels easy and flowing. So you may feel a sense of patience this week. You may feel perseverance, a bit more seriousness, stronger work ethic, even perhaps like a sense of duty. So this could be a really good energy to work with in terms of aspects of your business, in terms of refining different strategic or foundational ideas or aspects of your work life, your career, and also things related to legacy, what it is that you're wanting to leave for others, for the next generation. We're also going to experience the sun again, creating a square with the planet of Neptune. So Neptune is the planet that governs Pisces, and the square can feel like there is conflict or there is like tread, that there is some drag, that things aren't moving maybe as rapidly or as smoothly as you'd like in regards to, again, the ego or, your expression of self out in the world in relationship to your imagination, your fantasy, even perhaps like spirituality or studies related to occult information. So it might feel like there is tension there, but there's also a potential for some powerful creative work if you're able to lean into and work through the tension that comes up. So whatever it is that feels really natural to you in terms of expressing yourself creatively, maybe that's art, perhaps that's movement, maybe that's using your voice in some way, or, the written word. Maintain habits this week that will help you to tap into that creative self-expression so that perhaps you can gain something positive through this square that we're all going to be experiencing. And again, if you feel a little bit like confused or foggy around your sense of ego and how that is able to be expressed in the world, reflect back and recognize that the square between the sun and Neptune is occurring for not just you, but for all of us this week, okay? And then Mercury, the planet that governs both Gemini and Virgo, the planet that is related to the way in which we bring our thoughts into form, is going to be in a square to Chiron, the asteroid that is known as the Wounded Healer. And, you know, with this square, again, this sense of tension between these two aspects of ourselves, right? The sense of expressing our mental ideas, and then this sense of like where we experience or feel wounding, may result in the sensation that like it's hard for us to put our feelings into words. It's hard for us to express how we're feeling triggered or how we're feeling wounded. Or we may be reflecting a lot on past experiences where we were hurt by someone else, where we were wounded. And it also may feel like it's just challenging to express ourselves, and or when we do express ourselves, we're met with a struggle. And I want to follow this up with the fact that Mercury is going to enter into its pre-retrograde shadow this week. So take some time to really prepare for this energy, because we're going to feel it. It's going to likely be a bit challenging to clearly articulate how we are feeling, and there may be some energy in the underbelly of our communication that has some wounding or some hurt mixed in. And we might not even know it until we're in the midst of expressing ourselves. So again, you know, Mercury, when going retrograde, and especially in that pre-retrograde shadow, I sometimes feel it more strongly in the shadow than I do during the actual retrograde period. Mercury is encouraging us to step back and reflect and refine and revisit the way that we communicate, and also revisit, you know, other forms of communication, like things that we've journaled, maybe some of our sacred scribe writings that we've saved. Revisit some of the written pieces that we have that could become fantastic content for once Mercury moves direct again in January. So it's not a time to be direct with your communication, with your words, outright with someone else, because Mercury again is retrograding. So that shadow will begin on the 12th, and then Mercury will go direct December 29th. All right, and then I want to touch on the moon for this week, the different signs it will move through, as well as the phase we're in. So we just had a full moon in Gemini, and now the moon is going to be in a waning phase. So this really kind of marries beautifully with this Mercury pre-retrograde shadow, in the sense that the moon is asking for us to go internal, to rest, to move slowly, and not take a lot of action. It's more a time to rest. And we're going to experience the moon moving from Leo into Virgo, into Libra, and then into Scorpio over the course of this week. When the moon's in Leo, you could tap into some inner child work. Leo is a heart-centered, generous sign, and it has also the potential for some really powerful connection to childlike experiences. So perhaps you could work through some of the inner child wounding that may be coming up. When the moon moves into Virgo, that would be a great time to tap back into some sacred wealth exercises, check in on your finances, go through your bank statements. Things like that are great activities for Virgo moon days. When the moon moves into Libra, it's a good time to connect with others, chat with friends, perhaps plan for a collaboration. Again, with the waning moon and then Mercury in its shadow of the retrograde period, I wouldn't necessarily encourage you to put that collaboration into action, but you could reflect on who you might want to be in collaboration with. And once the moon moves into Scorpio, this is a really great time to dive deep on a topic that you've been wanting to research. Perhaps there's something that has piqued your interest recently, some sort of study that you would like to go a little bit deeper on. It could be a great time to tap back into some of the healings around, sacred wealth, ancestral generational wealth, bonding, any type of activation that could incorporate perhaps like cord cutting or healing on a deep level would be something worthwhile to explore while the moon's in Scorpio, because there's such potential for deep transformational healing. And it can also be very restorative. Like with the waning moon, you can just relax, lay back, listen to the activation, not feel like you have to be very like action oriented with it. Rather you can just receive. So that is the information I have for you for the week of December 12th. Again, the awareness part is so important. I hope that this is helping to provide you with a sense of empowerment. I hope it's also easing any overwhelm you feel when you think about astrology and the cosmos. I wish you all a restorative and healthy week, and I'll be back to check in with you next week. Take care.